The French President Emmanuel Macron has said that Ukraine will get Mirage 2000, another Western fighter jet. In this video, we are going to talk about what this actually means for Ukraine. What are the advantages in comparison to the F-16? What are the disadvantages? How can Ukraine effectively use those? We'll try to keep this short, so let's go right into that video. So the French president said that he'll give Ukraine Mirage 2000 and pilots will be trained in France as well. The most likely plane that is going to be given to Ukraine are the Mirage 2005F. Those are former Mirage 2000C that have been modernized. The Mirage 2000C might also be an option. They have been taken out of service in 2022, so they would be available in probably bigger numbers. Generally, the Mirage 2000 and 2000-5 is still in service, so the amount of planes that can actually be given to Ukraine should be fairly small, like in the one-digit numbers, unless France buys some for Ukraine or finds somebody else to buy them. Greece wants to sell their Mirage 2000. Taiwan thinks about decommissioning their Mirage 2000. They have, I think, 48. The United Arab Emirates has Mirage 2000-9. So they also have the plane type, which is about to be decommissioned. Overall, a fair amount might be available. France itself only has 37 modernized to the 5F version. So that should theoretically be all that's available. But if France doesn't stick to only the 5F, more would be possible. Overall, I guess in midterm, realistically seems to be 40 to 50 planes that are potentially available. Theoretically, it could be up to 100 or maybe a little over it, but we have to say the biggest shortcoming that will limit the amount of numbers will be the pilots, not the planes. Because the pilots have to be trained. Either they have to be switched over to that type if they are already combat pilots, or they have to be trained from the ground up. And obviously the number that is available in combat pilots on the Ukrainian side that aren't already supplied with planes is fairly limited. The planes, the 2000-5F should be a little worse than the export version that was already also sold, as they have been converted from 2000C, and they are, among others, it's said that they retained the old countermeasures from the 2000C. The plane has the RYD radar. That is a mechanical pulse Doppler radar, so no longer anywhere close to the best of the best, but it has look down, shoot down ability, and it has improved abilities to strike ground targets. This means that the plane can be used to attack targets lower than it. Perfect for cruise missiles. It can do ground attacks. Great for the ground attack weapons that France is making available for Ukraine as well. The Mirage 2000 is lighter and more agile and faster than the F-16, but that is mostly irrelevant in the context, except maybe for interception, because there obviously every additional kilometer per hour will make a difference to how long it takes to reach a target. So there, in pure interception missions, the Mirage 2000 could be better, but it can use the Scalp. So it can use the mid-range cruise missile that France has supplied to Ukraine. It can also use the Hammer, the guided bombs that France is supplying. This is a big advantage at the same time. On the other hand, its air-to-air weaponry is French. For mid-range, it's using the Mika. Mika has maximum range of 80 kilometers. That's significantly worse than the AIM 120 AMRAAM. So in air-to-air role, it's potent, but nowhere close to what the F-16s will be able to do. It's probably better than what they currently have, because the Mika should be a semi-active radar homing, so it can look for its target itself. It can keep up the contact with the target. The Mirage 2000 doesn't have to light up the target at the same time, while the air-to-air missiles that are currently available for the Ukrainians still have to do that. Overall, The plane was less produced. This means that spare parts might be a bigger problem. Also, that a huge disadvantage is that the US air-to-air missiles are not compatible, so you can't simply bolt Sidewinder on it or MRAM on it. It will most likely only be able to use the French air-to-air missiles. This is a big negative, and on midterm, in the long run, this could obviously cause problems in supply if the French can't source enough, if they can't produce enough air-to-air missiles. And should the Ukrainians focus on shooting down cruise missiles, then they would have a fairly high amount of usage of air-to-air missiles. So in the midterm, they could run out. Another disadvantage is that they'll need separate logistics. The spare parts are not compatible, so they'll have to set up a fully new logistics train in comparison to the F-16, and additional training for ground crew for pilots. You can't put an F-16 pilot into the Mirage 2000, so even if one plane is available, if the pilot is trained for the other Western jet, he won't be able to use it. That's obviously a big disadvantage. In this regard, it would have been much better for the French to simply source other F-16s to help Ukraine. There are positive things though too, as France has already said they are planning to send trainers into Ukraine. That means they're already sending regular armed forces into Ukraine to help the Ukrainian armed forces. That doesn't mean that that means that, at least theoretically, it's possible that they send mechanics. This would obviously mean that the ground crew could be supplied by the French if they decide to take that risk, and that would increase the availability of the planes. That would shorten the training periods, as you only have to retrain pilots. This would allow a much more efficient training, as you might have mechanics that have 20 years experience. This could be a massive boost for the Ukrainians in this regard. Also, another big advantage is the fact that it is not the F-16. It can use French training crew, French training capacities. Now, the French can train you in basic flying as a rookie, but they can't train you in F-16s as they themselves don't have it. But they can train you for the Mirage 2000, so the whole French pilot training train can be used for Ukrainians to train them towards this plane that we see here on the screen, not for the F-16. Overall, when we see what will that be good for, now the Mirage 2000 will be able to use Scalp. That means that the Sukhoi 24, that is currently the only plane using it on Ukrainian side, is no longer necessary. That means should the Sukhoi 24 continue to suffer losses, as they do during the war, the Ukrainians will still be able to keep using the Scalp. This is a massive advantage for them, as they can keep using those cruise missiles. This also means they can do mixed strikes with Sukhoi 24 and with Mirage 2000 to increase the volume, which means they have a higher chance of saturation of the Russian air defense systems. Another big advantage. It can use the HARM, the hammer, the air-to-ground weapon that France is providing, and it should be able to reprogram it on board and thus be more efficient in it. Generally, the plane would probably be very good in intercepting cruise missiles, as it is faster than the F-16 and thus should be able to be used at this as well. On the front line itself, against Russian jets, the F-16 should be better because of its AMRAAMs, but overall it basically, again, does mostly everything better than what the Ukrainians currently have. The MiG-29 in the Ukrainian versions, the Sukhoi 27 in the Ukrainian versions, can't really compete in its versatility and in the air-to-air missiles that the Mirage 2000 carries. So while it's not the perfect addition to the Ukrainians, it will help them, and especially the fact that it can use Scalp will be a massive improvement for the Ukrainians. So overall, great news for Ukraine. How will Russia react? Now here we are still unclear. Now here it's still unclear. The Russians obviously are not happy about this, and currently in the Russian mill blogger sphere, they are demanding asymmetric answers, basically delivering weapons to France's enemies to punish France for this delivery, and this could obviously become a reality. For instance, in New Caledonia, the separatists there could be supplied by the Russians, but we'll have to see how this is turning out. Overall, though, very good news for Ukraine, but that's it for me for today, as I wanted to keep this video as short as possible. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm. Leave a comment what you think about that, addition to the Ukrainian Air Force. And if you're new here, I would like to invite you to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss future videos. This channel is only possible because of the support of viewers like you. If you like to support the channel, you can do so by the means in the description. Thank you very much to everyone already doing this, but that's it from me for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back.